Hi everybody, welcome back to Our Abundant Life. My name is Aarahi and this is my beautiful wife Candice.
Alright, so usually we post every week, but last week we missed a week because we were back in New Zealand. We had to go back because Aarahi's dad had passed away pretty suddenly.
So yeah, our video today is going to be a little bit different. We're just going to talk a little bit about our experiences and I don't know how we feel and talk a little bit about, I guess, some of the things that happened.
Yeah, well, we've both lost our dads now, so we both can speak from experience what it feels like to have to bury a parent, which is a pretty hard thing to do. So you talked to your dad the day before we got the call to come home, right?
Yeah, so this was maybe Sunday, just over 2 weeks ago. Yeah, and I'd called up my parents to talk to my mum about wishing her a happy birthday and their wedding anniversary, which was earlier in the month.
How long have they been married? 50 years?
These are questions that are difficult for me to answer.
Probably around 50 years. We're going to say around 50 years.
A long time.
Yeah.
Many, many years. But yeah, so I was talking to my mum on the phone on Sunday night. And yeah, in the background I could hear my dad making laboured breathing noises, heavy breathing. It didn't sound really good. It didn't sound very good at all. And at the end of our conversation talking to Mum, she asked if I wanted to talk to him, or she asked Dad if he wanted to talk on the phone, but he was not really.
Yeah, too much pain, I think.
Yeah.
He had like an infection on his leg, right? He went collecting puppies and he got an infection on his leg. He was already not well health-wise though. But, not like on his deathbed or anything like that.
And he'd just been bandaging it up by himself for maybe like 2 weeks.
He's a stubborn old man, didn't want to go to the doctor.
Didn't want to get it checked out or anything. And yeah, so after he went and gathered seafood from the foreshore, which wasn't, I guess, particularly clean. I guess
there
the water
was
was probably
some
a little
bacteria in the water, I think.
Polluted. And yeah, he got an even worse infection from being in the water, and that caused the, I guess, infection that he already had to get much worse.
Exacerbated. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sunday
night, he apparently after I'd finished talking to my mum, she took him
after hanging up the phone, eh?
Yeah, she took him into the bathroom to do his business. And then he didn't really come out of the toilet. I don't know, Mum said he was just kind of standing there looking a bit lost. And she started to get a bit worried, I think, and then called one of our family friends who was a former paramedic, and he advised her to call an ambulance. And so that's what she did. She called the ambulance. The ambulance took them into the hospital. And then, yeah, I guess he was taken into the emergency ward where they decided that they would need to operate on him. Yeah. Not sure exactly for what, but they took him in, and yeah, he didn't really wake up after that.
Yeah, and so we got the call on. I woke up. Who rang you? Your brother?
Yeah, I think it was my little brother. Called on Monday morning.
Yeah, like I woke up and Aarahi was on the phone. It was probably maybe 6 o'clock, 6:30 or so.
I think it was a bit later than that.
Maybe 7. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It was early in the morning. We were just waking up. Yeah, and they said, "Oh, you need to come home." And I was like, "What? That's not what I was planning to do today. I had other things that I'd, planned to do." And it seemed a little bit surreal, I think, to us. And like they sent through emails, like they emailed a letter to us to say, for Aarahi's work, to say, it's advised that Aarahi is next to his father's bedside. And we were like, are you really sure? Like, how serious is this? Because, knew he wasn't well and they had a sore on his leg. But we thought, he's beat cancer a fair few times, so probably come through this as well. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I think going into planning for going back to New Zealand, I don't think we had it in our minds that this was going to be it.
Yeah.
We're still thinking he'll probably still recover
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be fine.
Don't really want to spend the money going back if, this isn't it. And I remember messaging one of Aarahi's siblings and I said, if we fly back tonight, it's going to cost this much money. But if we fly back on Thursday, we can save like over $1,000 because, buying, really last minute tickets for a family of 6 is not cheap. I mean, it cost us a few $1,000s just for one way. And that was, I was like, can we just wait until Thursday? Because Thursday tickets are like a third of the price. And he said, no, you probably need to come today. And I'm like, ugh, all right then. We'll, I got the tickets. But I booked these tickets, right? And they...
That was an ordeal.
It was an ordeal, I swear. So I booked the tickets and then I didn't get the confirmation of the tickets. And so I waited, an hour or two. And I rang them up and they said, oh, we can't confirm them for 24 hours, but we'll see what we can do. And then they had me on the line, like, waiting for hours and hours for them to confirm these tickets. And then in the end, it was maybe an hour before we needed to leave for the airport. And I said, look, I need to go to the airport. Can you confirm these tickets or not? Or if you can't confirm them, can I have my money back? Because, that's like $2,000 and I'd kind of like it back to buy the tickets that we actually needed. So they said, sorry, we can't actually confirm the tickets. Sorry for wasting your time. They didn't actually say sorry for wasting your time, but I was pretty angry by then. I put on my angry phone voice, which is a big deal for me because I have serious phone phobia. And so they said they couldn't do the tickets, so they gave me back my money. It was immediate that they gave back the money. And then I ended up booking the exact same flight for maybe $200 more than what that company had. And we left for the airport maybe half an hour after I had finalised the tickets, which was crazy. So we left for the airport at maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And so we got on the plane and I was sitting there and I was just thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is where we are right now. Like 1 o'clock in the morning, that's the time that we arrived into Auckland. And she let us use their big family car. And she rented a rental car for their family because they could fit into a smaller car. So that was such a blessing for us. And I'll be forever thankful that she saved us over $1,000 almost in car rental fees. Yeah. And then once we got to Auckland, we got in the car and we drove down to Tauranga.
Another ordeal.
Yep.
So many
roadworks. Oh my gosh.
And lots of blocked roads because they're doing works on the road at night. So
obviously, less
night
busy.
roadworks.
And so we
didn't know that.
we were going to like these random towns that we've never ever been to in our lives. So the trip from Tauranga to Auckland is usually about 2.5 hours. It took us well over 4 hours to get there. So by the time we got to Aarahi's sister's house, it was 5 o'clock in the morning. And
we were tired and
exhausted.
We were
exhausted. The kids were exhausted. Everyone was just absolutely wasted. And then so we got up in the morning and we went to the hospital. Yeah.
So we went to the hospital. Met one of my brothers there. Took us up to where Dad was in the critical care unit.
ICU.
CCU, ICU, whatever you want to call it. And we just saw Dad just lying there with tubes and cords coming out of his everything and everywhere.
Yeah, on life support.
There's basically it was just the machines that were keeping him alive. Really, that's the way that I felt.
He was already gone.
He was already gone, and it was just the machines pumping his.
The nurses were kind enough that they went and turned off all the monitors and stuff, so you didn't have to watch the like his blood pressure and his lungs and stuff like that. So that was, I think it made it a lot easier. Yeah,
and I think they turned off a lot of the sounds.
Yeah,
otherwise
the
it would have
beeping
just been
and
beeping non-stop, I'm pretty sure.
And so they were only keeping him on life support to wait for people to arrive because his family lives, his siblings live all over the country and they all had quite a decent drive. All of your siblings made it apart from one of your oldest sister. But she wasn't trying to make it because she knew she wasn't going to make it. So she said, you can take the life support off while I'm not there. That's okay. So what do we do? Everybody sort of sung to him, sung songs. Aarahi's got 9 siblings. He's one of 9 kids, eh?
Yeah. Big family.
Yeah, so we're all there. All the kids, all the grandkids were there as well. Most of them anyway.
A few of them.
Yeah, a decent
came in at some time.
Even the little kids got to come in and A lot of them were there when he passed away. We had the whānau room as well, where all the kids were. There were probably maybe like 20 of the kids, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say about
at
that.
least 20
Sounds
kids. And we didn't feed them. Like, it was such a crazy day. We didn't feed the kids.
Well, they had plenty of food from other people and stuff.
Yeah, there were like snacks. People had brought snacks and stuff, but there was no like proper meals or anything until later on.
Maybe in the afternoon.
Yeah, the nurses supplied them with like lemonade icy poles, and that kept them pretty happy for a while. But they were just happy to play with their cousins and stuff. Carter was pretty wasted. He just got plonked down. He fell asleep, and we just put him down on like some random chair that we found lying around, but he was happy. And then once all Aarahi's siblings arrived, the ones that were trying to get there, they decided to take out all the tubes and turn off the life support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a difficult experience for me personally, because I don't like tubes and things coming out of people's bodies, and hearing them taking it out just creeped me out so bad.
Yeah.
I had to step out of the room and go to a different room because I was close to throwing up or fainting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But you're only probably out for maybe 5 minutes, and then you're able to
catch
go
my
back.
breath for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was difficult to watch and to see. Everybody was just sung songs to him as he was passing away. But once they took the tubes out, he left really fast. Within a minute or two, he was gone. But it was nice and peaceful. Like, I didn't really realise that he had passed away until I like really focused on looking at see if he was still breathing. But he went really fast. And then we went and decided that we better feed our kids. So my sister-in-law and I, we went and got food for everybody, and we took it up. Tauranga Hospital has a beautiful rooftop garden, so everybody went up there and we shared some fish and chips.
So one of the, I guess, traditional things with our culture is that we're not allowed to leave the body by itself in a room. So somebody has to always be with the body wherever
it goes.
Wherever it goes. So I got to go to the funeral home with Dad and the hearse. And they did the embalming and all that sort of things. I wasn't in that room when they did that because
that's kind of creepy, and you would not have coped well. I don't think they'll let people do that anyway. Yeah, that's like a private thing.
Alright, so while I was there at the funeral home, the funeral director, I guess, was asking me a lot of questions about stuff that they had to put in for the death certificate. And oh boy, was there a lot of questions that I should have known answers to, but didn't.
You need to know all your siblings' birthdays?
Yes, not just the date and month, which I knew most of, but also the years. And I struggled a lot with the years for a lot of my siblings because a lot of them are much older than me.
You didn't grow up with them, did you?
No, I didn't really grow up with a lot of my older siblings.
Just the younger 5.
So I wasn't sure about a few of the pieces of information. There was so many questions like you'd never expect to have to answer for somebody's death certificate, like what was his parents' jobs and what were they doing. I don't know. Like, it
must be for like history's sake or something like that.
Maybe it's just to make sure it's the right person. Right, so after my older brothers, after my brothers came to the funeral home, we had the interesting, bizarre, kind of cool experience of dressing our dad in preparation for his burial. I don't think any of us brothers had any experience in dressing a body before, but our brother-in-law had some experience, so he was giving us some tips. And what also helped was that my wife and I have watched this show called The Casketeers.
Oh yeah, in New Zealand. If you might have it on Netflix, wherever you are, The Casketeers. Great show, you should watch it.
Yeah, so I knew some ideas and I don't know.
Oh, educational as well.
We managed to get it all done.
I think it's a special experience to be able to share that with your brothers as well. And nice for your dad to know that someone, not just some random person, had dressed him. And while all that was happening, while Aarahi was doing all that, my sister-in-laws and I, we were all up at the homestead, cleaning and preparing and getting the house ready and stuff, because where they put Aarahi's dad is in his study, which was, he loved to keep records and books and all sorts of stuff. So it was lined like wall to wall with all his special things and things that he found worth in. And so it was a bit of a mission.
And papers and
to get that all cleaned up. I thought it was quite special actually that he got to go into that room, because he spent so much time in that room. I mean, it was the obvious room for him to go into because it's got like a sliding door to the outside. But I thought it was, a bit meaningful that he got to, that's where his last time in his house was, in that room.
Wednesday night and Thursday night we held, a service.
Yeah, family services at home.
It's kind of a thing that, I don't know, does everybody do that sort of thing?
I don't know, do you? If you're not from New Zealand or you're not Māori, do you do that kind of thing where you hold family services where people can come, and it's a lot less formal than a funeral? But like every night they would have like family services where people could come and they shared stories and they'll sing songs and things. I know when my dad passed away, we did the exact same thing. It was just a time for everybody to come and share their thoughts and spend time with the body and
just
with the family.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Because during the whole the time from after his embalming up to the day of his actual burial, so the body stayed in the home. Yeah,
it doesn't go to the funeral home.
Yeah, it stayed in our home, in the study. And again, because of our culture, there's always somebody there in the room with the body.
Yeah.
Like
the mattresses down on either side of the casket so people can sleep and have somewhere comfortable to sit.
Yeah. And also it gives a chance for people from the community, people from our marae, our tribe, our cultural heritage, I guess, to come up and pay respects and do that sort of thing and visit, just any time throughout the time that we're there at the home.
I think it's really good, a good tradition, because it gives the family and friends and people a time to really grieve, I think, and to process and to spend time with people who are coming to visit, and to spend time with the body and to have that time. Because I think if you're just sending the body across to the funeral home or something, it's kind of, sometimes it maybe feels a bit out of sight, out of mind. Maybe, I don't know. But I really enjoy it.
I think another thing that was really cool about having that was that a lot of the people that came up to visit knew stories or shared stories about him when he was younger, things that we'd never heard before, things about him, and they just talked, and whoever was in the room with Dad at the time, I know some of them just recorded some of the stories that people were sharing, and I thought that was really cool. Hearing those different things about Dad. And
because your dad was known not as a soft and cuddly man, he was known as a pretty hard man, right? Yeah, so it was really nice to hear some of the funny stories of the mischief that he used to get up to, and some of the really gentle and kind things that he had done for people, and
apparently he had long hair and a motorbike when he was in his heyday.
So it was really nice to hear those stories. And then it came day for the funeral, and Aarahi's dad, being the organised dad that he was, he had planned his funeral and sent it out to us 7 years prior.
I think it was just after a time when one of his siblings had passed away.
Yeah.
So he had
all onto, I'm going to be organised.
Yep.
So we went in and we looked back through all the emails and stuff, and we found his funeral plan. And I think we tried to follow it as close as we could. He had people assigned to speak, and he even gave them their assignments of what they were going to speak on. Songs that he wanted sung. A song that he wanted his sons to sing for him was really difficult to find, but I'd found it in my sister's car. Was the funeral program from my grandpa's funeral, and it had that song on it, so I knew that at least somebody in my family knew the music and the lyrics to that song, so we were able to get it that way. And so the boys, they learnt the song. They slept with their dad the night before the funeral, right? And you guys practiced a bit?
Yeah, we practiced a little bit before we stayed the night in the room with Dad. But yeah, I think we managed to do a reasonable job of it, even though a few of us didn't quite make it through the whole song.
Yeah, it was quite
It was the last song of the service, and
it was
it's
pretty
very
moving.
very poignant lyrics.
Yeah.
Very appropriate for our dad. It was about a teacher, which our dad was by profession for most of his life. The song is called "The Teacher's Work Is Done" or something, or
Yeah.
I think that's kind of people have two different names for that song.
Yeah.
So it's either "Come Lay His Books" or "The Teacher's Work Is Done."
But yeah, it was very fitting for your dad.
Yep, and it was very emotional for us
Yeah.
trying to sing it.
Well, I think because all Aarahi's his mum sang, or the family sang, everybody in the family sang, and his sisters sang and stuff. And then it got to the boys, and they had been very strong throughout the whole week so far. And I didn't see any of them cry, like when he passed away, or through any other portion of the week. I didn't see them cry or express much emotion at all. And then to see them, they didn't make it through the song. They were like,
Well, one of my brothers did, I think.
yeah.
Made it to the last two words. I think I made it to the last.
It was a bit of a flow-on
line,
effect.
but not the.
I saw Harama went first. Harama's the baby, and I think he probably had the closest relationship with your dad out of you boys.
Yeah,
The most loving and close kind of relationship. And then I saw Aarahi making these weird faces, and I thought, oh, he's there. He's going now too. And then your older brother Wuramu, he went, and I think Turk managed to make it all the way through. But I saw him when he went down, and he was a bit emotional when he was walking back down. Yeah.
Well, that was a really nice experience singing together with my brothers.
It
as
doesn't
well.
happen very often. Hardly ever. Especially your oldest brother. Wuramu doesn't like to sing. He'd rather just play the guitar for everyone, I think. Yeah.
Don't know why he sings perfectly fine.
Yeah. After the funeral service, we drove up to the Urapa,
Which is like the burial site for
the family.
for our I don't know what we call it.
Like if you're Māori, and sometimes your family has a burial plot, so you don't usually get buried in the general city cemetery, but with your family and stuff. So this was sort of out in the outskirts of town, and we drove it there. It was absolutely beautiful place to be buried. Beautiful lush green trees and stuff. And they'd already, dug the hole and stuff, and they took him in, and then all the grandkids, all the boys pretty much, filled in the hole while everybody sort of sung and watched on.
Yeah, there's a few more stories that people shared there as well. The last, I guess, chance to share a little bit. yeah, again, some cool stories. Some of my brothers-in-law shared about approaching him to ask for one of my sister's hands in marriage.
Probably pretty terrifying though. I can imagine being terrified to go talk to your dad about something like that.
Yeah.
Also on that Saturday night, Aarahi's mum really wanted a photo of all her kids and all her grandkids, because this is honestly probably the last time that she was going to have that opportunity, that everyone was going to be there. Because we got kids going away on missions, kids going to get married, and the likelihood of everybody being back at the same place at the same time is gonna pretty much impossible. So they have 33 grandkids and 1 great grandkid, 9 kids, and everybody was there at that one time. So we went and we got a photo in the backyard, and there were 3 kids that were pretty sick. 1 kid who just turned around and vomited into the bush behind her, and then turned around to continue on with the photo, which was, I think Nanny was super happy that she got her photo. No matter what, she was going to get that photo. I don't think she cared if kids were going to be vomiting or not. I think death is a lot different for us. We don't believe that death is just
the end of everything.
No. So that's probably why we can deal with it a lot better than some people. We don't believe that, once somebody dies, that's it and you're never going to see them again. We believe that, there's a life after this, and this is just a small blip in time, and that we believe that families are forever, that your family unit goes beyond just this earth life, that you can be with your family forever if you wanted to.
That's definitely brought us a lot of comfort during this time. Having that strong faith and belief that as we live the way that we should and do the things that God has asked us to do, that we can be together as a family unit forever. And that's really important to me, especially meaningful to us, I guess, as parents to our own family now as well.
To know that, whatever happens, that we'll be together again eventually one day. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, so we'll leave that with you, and we hope that it's probably a bit of a different video today.
A bit long.
Yeah, a bit long. This video is probably a lot more for us than it is for other people. Just recording our feelings and our thoughts about what went down, and how we are processing it and dealing with it now that we're back home. But yeah, if you enjoyed it or you want to hear more from us, make sure you subscribe, and we are gonna get going on with the rest of our day and see what we do.
Hopefully there won't be any more emergency trips to New Zealand in the near future.
I wouldn't be surprised though, that's how life goes. Alright, see you later, so bye!
Bye!